Hello, everybody. You've tuned in to the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance, Cops for Kids, subsidiary of the Indiana State Police Alliance. We thank them for their support each and every week of the Indiana State Police Roadshow. I also want to thank my man behind the camera, the one, the only Tom Trial, the videographer for the Indiana State Police, who puts us on the ISP YouTube site. So go there and see Tom's workings. He does a great job with putting our shows and other shows on the ISP YouTube site. My guests today are guests that have not been here before. Lieutenant Dennis Nell, retired from the Martinsville Police Department. Dennis, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Dennis, a.k.a. Blue Jean, right, Murph?
That's correct.
And Sergeant Kenny Murphy, a.k.a. Murph, from the Martinsville Police Department, too. This is something that's this is going to be a great show because this is something that I had not experienced or saw before I started working with these two on this event that's going on in Martinsville. But let's talk a little bit about the background on what you guys do. Kenny, you've got a program down there now that you're teaching at Martinsville High School. So how did this all evolve and come about?
About 6 months ago, I was brought on board. Dr. Sears, who's the principal at the Martinsville High School, had been looking into doing a law enforcement vocational program. There are a few others around the state, primarily at vocational schools, that have been operating for a few years. And so he got with Mayor Cole and Chief Long, and they worked out an agreement that they thought would be beneficial both to the school and to the city. And then I was brought on board to try to put one of the programs together.
Is that kind of, you're talking about vocational school, is that like an Area 30 school or something like that?
That's correct. Area 30, Area 30 does a program very similar to the program that I'm teaching.
Okay, all right. So this is focuses on law enforcement, correct?
Correct. It's a law enforcement criminal justice-based course. Dual credit course that we teach through Vincennes University. They have a program called Project XL that actually encompasses several dual credit programs at high schools. Ours is very specific to law enforcement. We choose the courses that essentially give them the foundation for a criminal justice degree.
So this is the first year, right?
This is the first year we've done it, yes.
What was the criteria for the kids to have to be able to participate in this?
They have to be juniors or seniors,
okay,
for the dual credit portion of the class for Vincennes to honor that. We had a lot of interest. We had several kids, almost double what we could take in capacity into the class that wanted to be in the class, so, which was nice because it gave us an opportunity to interview the kids that we wanted, get the character traits that essentially we look for in young recruits at the police department. People that are excited, people that are asking, pertinent questions about, what we do and that really want to learn. Had a parent meeting, so all the parents would be aware of the class, the hands-on portion of the class, waivers obviously, and things of that nature that needed to be signed. So we had a really detailed selection process, and I think we came right down to the correct people.
So how many youngsters did you end up with?
We have 17 students in the class right now. We started off with a few more, but ended up with a drop or two along the way.
Okay, kind of like the academy.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's something that we experience in the academy. You bring aboard so many, and they think they have what it takes, or that they're interested in this, and this is a career field, but they find out maybe it's not.
That's exactly right. And I do borrow a lot from the Law Enforcement Academy, from their basic course, and I try to keep an atmosphere that's based on discipline. So, and that's not for everybody.
So, what's your schedule? Is this an everyday event? Is this once a week, or how does that work there at the school?
We're at the I'm at the high school every morning. We start at 7:30 and end at 10 o'clock. I have them 5 days a week for the entire school year.
Okay. So, are these kids in uniforms, or are they in? How does that work out?
They do. They start off. They wear a polo type shirt that with a logo that was designed by Chief Long that identifies them as a criminal justice student. They wear khaki pants. So they're identified. They're separated out a little bit. They get the feeling, a similar experience to police officers who obviously are wearing, uniforms that are different than what a lot of people are. A lot of people ask them questions about it. I hear my students all the time telling other students what they're wearing and why they're wearing it. They also are identifiable when they come out into the field and they do field work with the officers as they progress through the class.
So your class starts out, is it all classroom at first, kind of like the academy, to get them familiar with what they're going to be learning and maybe the basics of what they need to do?
Right. We go over We spend the first several weeks just kind of going over the course rules, the things that we're going to cover, where we have to be at certain points in time. Obviously, the Vincennes University college credit courses are, there are restrictions on,
Right.
when we can do things and how we have to start things and how we have to finish things. So we talk about being able to stay on schedule. We get a lot of safety issues out of the way before they can get into the more hands-on things.
So speaking about hands-on, do you have guest speakers come in and talk with the students?
Right. I rely very heavily on guest speakers. Obviously, I've been in this business for half of my life, but I haven't specialized in a lot of things. So every time I have a particular course of interest, I have guests come in. For example, we've had the Indiana State Police there. We've had several different members of the Martinsville Police Department there. We've had Morgan County Sheriff's deputies there. The prosecutor of Morgan County has been there to talk about the law. So I have to rely on people's expertise, and the kids look forward to that. They're very disciplined in their studies, and they look forward to the people that come in that can answer their questions and have had real world experience in those areas.
Is this all classroom? Do you guys go out on field trips, or how does that work out?
We do. We're in the classroom, primarily restricted by the weather right now, but we try to get outdoors and get our hands on in lab type scenarios. When we investigated crash scenes prior to the weather turning chilly, we were able to walk to the Morgan County Fairgrounds from the school. It's a pretty short walk down there where we actually have crashed cars set up and crash scene scenarios that they get to go out and get their hands on. Outside of school, they come and they do ride-alongs with the police department. They have scheduled tours for the jail. They've have a scheduled tour for the emergency dispatch center. I have several students that have specialized interests that will that are signed up on a list to be able to go see autopsies and some stuff that I just don't have access to on a regular basis.
Well, I know that they're also are involved in community events, because I know a lot of your kids participated in your city police department's haunted house. They helped out with that, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. So, and I promote that. It's just
Absolutely.
It's something that I think that at least when I was a young police officer, was heavily promoted to become involved in your community, even if you're not on the job, so to speak. And I promote that to the students in the class, and they love it. They embrace it. They're at every event that I ask them to be at.
Yeah, I heard that they were going to be in there and help out with that, and that's says volumes about your program, and again, just the kids being involved and doing what they do. So what do you hope to get out of this? What are you looking for?
Well, initially, we look to get them out of the class successfully and get the college credits that they're going to be provided in the class. Give them a great experience, a real world experience, and we do have to talk about a lot of things in this business that, I try not to sugarcoat things.
Right.
I want them to have a real experience of law enforcement, the criminal justice fields. My expectation is that probably 50% or more of these students will move on and they'll have jobs in the profession, whether it be that they immediately start after high school into a job in a jail somewhere, maybe emergency dispatch center. Some will continue on to college. Some already have contracts with the military. They all have different experiences of how they're going to get there. Some may recognize through this class that it's just not for them, that this is not a good career choice for them.
Yeah.
And that's okay too. Hopefully we will have our future recruitment based out of these students. A lot of them want to stay in our community. We want them there in our community. I hate to see, young people from our community leaving and doing great things in other communities when we maybe just have a foundation problem. So that's what I'm kind of hoping for. I hope to keep some of them here. We already have, by the time we end this program, we'll have 180 days of character reference on these young men and women. So when they come into the career field within the next couple of years, we already know who they are.
Now, are you looking at having a graduation, kind of special graduation?
Yeah, we will
for them?
do. We will do a graduation ceremony closer to the end of the school year, and Chief Long and Mayor Cole will be involved in that.
Good.
So something to recognize them for all their hard work, because it is a class that takes a lot of work.
Absolutely. And you're looking forward next year? It's going to continue?
To my understanding, I've talked to Dr. Sears on several occasions, and they're already making plans for next year.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like a great program and something that is well deserving of these kids and their hard work and what they're doing, and it's something that's going to, again, build character and make them good community members, I think.
And I think we just have the right people in the course. It's been a great experience for me.
Well, you've recently started something that wasn't in Martinsville PD there for a while too, and Lieutenant Nail was a big part of that. Again, he was a DARE officer, I know, let me think, forever, and then it was kind of gone, and now it's back.
Yes.
How are you enjoying that, Dennis?
I love it.
Yeah.
I was in that position for 16 years, and sadly, it was done away with, and we won't go into that. But it lets the officers get in touch with the kids. We build relationships with those kids. I've had young adults come to me now and introduce themselves, and I'm a little shocked because they've got little ones with them, and they'll make a remark like, "Officer Nail, you're my DARE officer," and I'm looking at an adult now.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at their kids.
Yeah.
And, they date, they never forget you.
Yeah.
And it's such a blessing to have that happen.
Now, what
it's
grades
been
do you
worth
teach
it.
on that?
5th grade is the core curriculum, 5th
Okay.
grade. But DARE touches base with kindergarten up to 5th grade. And
Oh, wow.
afterwards, an officer can be certified to go into the middle school or high school. But we concentrate on the 5th grade level.
So have you found that 16 years before it's back, has your focus changed? Is it the opioid, obviously what we're fighting now?
Yes. It's the
You probably didn't have to
change.
worry about that then.
No. Our basic focus was marijuana, alcohol, and tobacco.
Yeah.
And now we focus on other issues, over-the-counter drugs. We focus on character, picking your friends, just being a good citizen, able to communicate well with others.
Yeah.
And it works so well, just having the officer there.
Yes.
And the school that we're currently doing that in, last year, we had those kids, those were 5th graders, and now they're all together in one school setting to the 5th and 6th grades. But when we go, we can't get down the hallway without being grabbed
Yes.
or hugged by last year's students and then this year's students. It's just a great program.
Well, that one-on-one, I think, with kids in the school system is missing, unfortunately.
Yes, yes, and it's sad. Some situations at home,
Right.
it brings
Spill over.
Oh,
into-
it will bring you to tears when you
Yeah.
get one-on-one with these kids. There's been a lot of times I've walked away with a lump in my throat.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Kenny, are you helping him out with this also?
Right. I'm with him all the time on the DARE program, and I even actually had a opportunity to take a spin-off yesterday and go in and do just a little brief DARE class for kindergarten kids, which was my first experience with doing that. Just something that was kind of last minute. Some issues had kind of presented themselves, and there was kind of a lesson to be taught that was beneficial to come in and do it. And it was first time I've ever done that. So that's the first time I've ever stepped out of the 5th grade to do a DARE class.
Well, I bet that was an experience. And I know when I talk to little kids at kindergarten, they have no filters.
That's correct.
Everything that they're thinking comes out and says exactly to you. Is that right, Dennis?
That's right. You have to be careful because they will tell you a lot of things that you don't want to hear.
Well, that's amazing. So the DARE program is going to keep continuing in Martinsville?
Yeah, we're set to.
So does that go just through the school year, and then when it's out, you come back again next year?
Yes.
Right. So the basic 5th grade program is set to be 10 weeks.
Okay.
And we have a lot of 5th graders. We have,
Yeah.
Our school system's pretty big. So since it's just the two of us, we divide it up. So we just do half of them in the fall and the other half in the spring. And it's kind of a work in progress, not only for me, just being my second year of DARE. The Martinsville school system consolidated the 5th and 6th grade into Bell Academy for the first time this year. So just about the time I felt like my training wheels were coming off, then the school consolidated that. So we're right back into almost kind of feeling like it's year one for me anyway. And I know Dennis doesn't feel that way, but.
Well, it sounds like you guys have got great programs going on down there. We're down to our last 30 seconds here, but with this program that you got at Martinsville High School, which I've had a personal experience with and loved it. Thank you for inviting me, Kenny. That was the best day ever talking to those
appreciate
kids.
being there.
And that's a great experience for those kids. And then with the DARE program, I know Dennis has been there forever, and your testimony to that is just proof of what that's doing for our kids in Martinsville.
No, we got good kids all over the
Yes,
state of Indiana.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, guys, for coming in. Lieutenant Dennis Nail, retired, Martinsville Police Department. Sergeant Kenny Murphy with Martinsville Police Department. Thanks for coming in and sharing your stories. And if there is anything I can do, let me know.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
We'll talk to you later. The Roadshow is out. We'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.